Nigeria, regarded as a giant of Africa, witnessed a change of administration on the 29th of May when President Bola Tinubu took over power from Muhammadu Buhari. During his inaugural address, the new president promised to take Nigeria and its democracy to greater heights. He made a lot of commitments to taking drastic steps towards reviving the economy, boosting growth, and sanitizing governance. However, the statement that sent shock waves throughout the country was the announcement of the removal of fuel subsidy.
No provision is there for fresh subsidy. The fresh subsidy is gone.
Stakeholders expressed surprise at the move, noting that it had been difficult for previous administrations to do.
I was taken aback. I never thought the announcement would be made so casually.
Subsidy is a globally accepted economic pain cushioning concept. To that extent, even if subsidy is not working in your own country, that will not in any way be able to vitiate or invalidate or negate the concept of subsidy. What you need to do is to check in your own country and find out why the concept is not working.
I was surprised at the boldness and the suddenness of the announcement. But at the same time, as an industry operator and as the chairman of the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, this is something we had been pushing for actively for the last 4 years, and certainly less so for the last 13 or so years. So it was welcomed with great news.
It came as a surprise because we had intention that the new administration, although I know that government is continuing, that the new administration will maybe sit down within some few months, look at what they have in the coffin and be able to look at a strategy.
Since the discovery of oil in commercial quantity in 1956 at Oloibiri in present-day Bayelsa State, petroleum has been a major source of revenue for Nigeria.
Nigeria was a land of opportunities. In fact, a land of milk and honey. But there was no plan for the rainy day. There was no plan for the future. The ruling class didn't think the country needed to get industrialized. So it was an import-oriented economy. There's no way the country will not collapse one day. They never saw that. And they never listened to people who kept on saying the IMF and World Bank prescription will pauperize the people of Nigeria and increase poverty phenomenally. And this is what has happened. That you must have your own local solutions. And they were available. At that time, Nigeria was assembling some vehicles. There were factories that were working, were producing textile materials, all manners of goods were produced in Nigeria. But we had successive governments that never planned for the future of our country. And that's why we're in a mess.
Barely 20 years later, the Great Depression of the 1970s rocked the global economy, causing a rapid rise in inflation. Fuel subsidy was introduced in Nigeria at that time, and it became institutionalized in 1977 under the military regime of General Olusegun Obasanjo. Promulgation of the price control decree also followed, which made it illegal for some products, including petrol, to be sold above the government-regulated price. Subsidies were basically introduced to cushion the effects of global inflation, which led to an increase in energy prices worldwide. Years later, the amount of money the government spent on subsidy skyrocketed. In 2023, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced that the country was spending more than 400 billion naira monthly on petrol subsidy. Over the years, the figures increased from billions to trillions of naira, gulping a huge portion of the country's annual budgets. Various administrations, like those of Shehu Shagari, Ibrahim Babangida, Goodluck Jonathan, and Muhammadu Buhari, attempted to remove fuel subsidy without success. In 1982, the Shagari administration increased the price of petrol from 15 kobo per litre to 20 kobo per litre.
That he let have been in their hands.
In 2012, former President Goodluck Jonathan faced opposition from labor unions, students, and civil society groups, forcing him to back down on fuel subsidy removal. In June 2022, the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari announced that it will stop fuel subsidy, having granted the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency approval to remove the price cap.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do solemnly swear.
Now that the administration of Bola Tinubu has succeeded where others failed, the repercussion is surging prices in virtually every sector.
It affects on the financial aspect side, where the money you used to buy for full tank or half tank is different now. Now it's too high. And if your car is consuming, where you have been managing it before, now it's a bit difficult something. So, but this time, maybe we get used to it.
Nigerian government need to do something about this. This thing is affecting us, and it's even affecting our business.
It's a good policy, but once they're making a policy, there should be a backup. You don't wake up in the morning and just make a policy. Say, for instance, when you remove it, is there adequate supply of fuel in the country to subside at least the suffering of the masses? Is there any kind of policy put in place to effect the caution effect of subsidy removal? Absolutely no. And Justin, you can't just wake up early in the morning and tell people you are removing subsidy without making a proper plan for it. People are suffering.
I enter 100 naira from Obalinde to TBS, but now they are collecting 200 naira, which if I'm going with 3 people is 600. If you are 4, it's 800. It doesn't need to be so. We need to have a better plan for the fuel subsidy. So I'm pleading on behalf of Nigeria and even me, myself and my family, that the government, the federal government should please assist the nation.
On the international scene, neighboring countries are feeling the impact of the removal of the subsidy. According to experts, high rates of smuggling of cheap petrol from Nigeria to Niger, Benin, Togo, Cameroon, and as far as Sudan has significantly reduced and stifled the black market.
Where the government was saying that subsidy was not really working for Nigerians, that they were smuggling it out of the country. And for me, that was a slap on the government face. I mean, the government was not really on top of their game, because you are moving with tanks of petrol, and it's not little cars, it's not bicycle. It's tanks. I mean, heavy cars. Heavy tanks moving out of this country to supply fuel to neighboring countries. For me, it was an organized crime that was perpetrated by the rich, because the poor will not be able to get those tanks, and most of those people that enjoy those things are those that are, it was one thing that the higher mighty were involved in collaboration with custom or whatever.
The news of subsidy removal was welcomed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited.
The decision of Mr. President to announce that subsidy on PMS is over, and this has really been a major challenge for NNPC's continued operation. We have been funding the subsidy from the cash flow of the NNPC since government is unable to defray the cost of subsidy that is due to the corporation. And we believe that this will free resources for the NNPC to continue to do the great works that this company will do for our country, and it allows us to continue to function as a very commercial entity.
It released the new price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, across the country, noting an increase from 190 naira to more than 500 naira per litre. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC described the increase in the pump price as an ambush against the people. President of the NLC, Joe Ajero, argued that the federal government failed to honor an agreement with it on how fuel subsidy removal should be done.
This matter has been on subsidy for the past 20 years. This is not a new policy of the NLC. This is not designed by this NLC. Subsequent NLC, previous NLC stands on this.
I don't think the NLC and TUC of today is like that of yesterday. The NLC of today, to me, is more or less like a toothless bulldog. We expect these labor bodies to be able to protect the interests, particularly of their members, beyond what they have done. At the beginning, they made some agitation. We were thinking something would come from the end of government through that agitation that would serve as some incentives to be able to make the labor markets and those that have their members be able to cope with the economic hardship that the fuel subsidy removal will put on them. One of the action we expect NLC to be able to bring to fore is the ability to make sure that immediate palliatives are extended to workers.
The NNPC attributed the hike in the petrol pump price to market forces, saying with deregulation of the oil sector, market realities will affect the price.
What I know is that the market forces will regulate the market. Prices will go down sometimes it will go up, but there will be stability of supply, and I'm also assuring Nigerians that this is the best way to go forward.
The crude price also drives the product price. You know, because the importers are importing, they are basing it on the cost of importation plus the freight, plus other cost elements in terms of local distribution.
Nigerians anticipated the development, but were shocked to have it implemented so suddenly.
We just wake up in the morning and then we find ourselves in this. It's sad.
You have car, you cannot even maintain car. To work myself, to see food to eat is problem myself.
It's a real turn on Nigerians' flesh. You understand? We're just trying to absorb the first increment.
I can always say that maybe the federal government can help us to make a solution to this thing, because we are tired and we vote for Tinubu because of this fuel, so that he can help us of this.
They are not taking it easy with anybody right now, everywhere in Nigeria. I will advise him to take it easy.
Organized labor embarked on a nationwide protest against petrol subsidy removal on the 2nd of August. Their demands bordered on immediate reversal of anti-poor policies of government, including the hike in price of petrol and fixing of the refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna. The unions took the protest to the National Assembly. The doors were shut against them, but they resorted to self-help. Senate Chief Whip Ali Ndume addressed the protesters. He appealed to them to suspend the action and give the National Assembly 1 week to resolve the issues.
I'm begging you to call off the strike and give us 1 week, and we will report progress. And if you are not satisfied with the progress we are making, then you can take further action. Please.
The unions, however, suspended the protest after meeting with President Tinubu, who promised to fix the Port Harcourt refinery by December 2023. The Naira has also had a big impact on issues in the oil sector. Over the years, its value against other currencies has diminished significantly. It should be noted that in 1981, $1 was equivalent to 61 kobo.
Crude price
is sold by international price, which is by dollar price. We don't refine local consumption. So we have to take it out of the shore of this country to refine and bring it back into this country. So when you are going to refine it and bring it back, then you are going to go through international waters. And so you are going to be charged also in dollars. When you float the Naira, it was a fixed price. And at that fixed price, we're not attracting investors. So when you bring your goods to the port, we saw there was market price, fixed price by government. So it's 400, 420, 450. So that was the price, was fixed. But now, with the liberalization of the floating of the Naira, it's determined by market forces. So if I'm bringing in fuel in now, it's going to automatically go to the official exchange rate at the day I'm bringing it, which will now increase. It's now 750 or 760 or 780.
What we need to do is to internally domesticate. Get the crude oil from the wellhead in Naira. Move them to the respective expected functional refineries in Naira. Refine them in Naira. Distribute them in Naira. Make sure you serve Nigerians in Naira. The first thing that will do is this. It will help and block and wage the pressures that we have been having from Forex.
As a result of the hike in prices of goods and services due to the removal of subsidy, the government came up with plans for palliatives to support citizens badly hit by the development. These include cash transfer to vulnerable Nigerians.
Cash transfer as a policy has failed in our country because at the end of the day, the money will not get to the right people. And what is 8,000 naira to a household for 6 months? After the 6 months, what happens?
However, this plan was dropped after widespread criticism. Stakeholders insist that the government must provide palliatives to give succor to the people.
The area of transportation is calling for attention. Government should have embarked on purchase of a number of buses, all over the place. People are also talking of agriculture. You need to produce food. The government has declared emergency in the area of food production, but the farmers can't go to the farms. So the issue of security is so crucial that farmers must be able to access their product, must be able to go to the farms.
It's everything. It's really across transport, it's across fuel, and it's across, most importantly, food. So any palliative that is presented or that is executed by the government must target those three areas of very desperate need. But I think in terms of longer term position, which is really putting down infrastructure across roads, building strong institutions, building a clear communication strategy so that Nigerians are constantly being told what's going on.
The first palliative I think should be in place is increment of salary. The minimum wage should be increased to be able to meet up with the realities of today. Workers should be able to have more pay so that they can afford to still make ends meet. Second palliative that I will expect is that government should begin to fix things that affect the generality of the people. One of it is Forex. Assuming Forex is fixed, you will discover that prices will begin to fall down naturally and it will serve as a palliative. But the other way around, Naira keeps falling.
The president responded by rolling out relief packages for various sectors in a nationwide broadcast on Monday, 31st of July.
We will ensure stable food are available and affordable. To this end, I have ordered release of 200,000 metric tons of grains from strategic reserves to households across the 36 states and FCT to moderate prices. We are also providing 225,000 metric tons of fertilizer, seeding, and other inputs to farmers who are committed to our food security agenda. Our plan to support cultivation of 500,000 hectares of farmland and all year-round farming practice remain on course.
One of the immediate impacts of the petrol subsidy removal, according to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, is reduction in the consumption of fuel in the country.
Nigerians have also trained down their consumption. Now you have seen people converting the generator to gas because gas now is more cheaper and it stays longer. You see, some of these issues, policies, drive creativity. If this thing didn't happen in this country, people will not know that you don't even need to go and visit somebody because you have not seen it for a very long time. You put your car AC and all the rest of them, and you drive like 7 vehicles in convoy. So people are very careful. But the highest, sometimes most of us have experienced in our civilizations that those that normally come and say, fill my tank, say, please put 3 liters, put 10 liters.
They reiterated the need for refineries to be functional as the way out of the challenges plaguing the oil sector currently.
The federal government should also encourage modular refineries. We have to localize our industrialization. Nigeria is supposed to be heavily dependent on importation of petroleum products. No. Nigeria should be exporting finished petroleum products. We are only producing country. We can't be importing what we are producing. So once it's liberated, you will see competition among the refineries, including those modular refineries. Also, federal government should encourage modular refineries. Allow private sectors to go into modular refineries. Thank God we have Dangote refinery. The competition will soon set.
It's absolutely, first of all, I believe that should be in the private sector's hands. I don't think that government has any business in running as complex an operation as refining. It just doesn't line up. This is better left to people who are professionally trained to operate these complex pieces of infrastructure. With that said, I think even from a psychological and moral boost for Nigerians, it would be great if Port Harcourt Refinery and Kaduna Refinery came on stream. Now, I have it on good authority that a lot of work is being done in the background, right? The reality is that we shouldn't expect too much from those refineries coming on stream. They have been out of commission for a long time. They were built a long time ago, so they may not necessarily have the technology and the requisite complexity to produce greater yields of what we need, such as gasoline.
We don't want import-driven deregulation. But when we face the reality of it and look at it, and Dangote refinery that is coming upstream, the Warri refinery, there is turnaround, I do the turnaround maintenance at least. We now feel it's hard time. Let's these subsidies to be removed. It will be beneficial to us. Initially, it will be a bit hard. Like now, that has caused inflation, has caused a lot of economy. I mean, a lot of things have been disorganized economically, but very soon, all of us will enjoy it.
The government has been encouraged to explore other sources of energy.
One of the side effects of the subsidy removal is that it opens up the energy landscape completely. So we're now able to look to move from a mono-product, petrol-driven economy or petrol and diesel-driven economy into one where consumers actually have multiple choices because of the price opening.
Experts have urged Nigerians to be patient as the reforms will help the country get better in the long run.
There's the light at the end of the tunnel. We have to satisfy. And very soon I know the way the government is driving the economy now, things will come down. So I think I would say this is the first time we have the president that is really prepared.
This is not the time to japa. This is not the time to run away from the country. This is not the time to dump their businesses, because in the real sense, there's nowhere we need to go. We are Nigerians. We are the only one that can fix our economy. We are the only ones that can fix our nation. Every other nation has their myriads of challenges. They may be different from ours, but it is there. So the best thing for us to do is to face the challenge headlong. We also need to understand that no problem, no challenge lasts forever.
Our lifestyle also need to take a bite also, if I'm permitted to use that language. And then we also begin to look at means or ways that we can improve ourselves and see how we can earn more.
The regime has been described as a very courageous one by the media. But I want such courage displayed in the interest of the Nigerian people. I want the government to get it seen today. The policies and programs of imperialist institutions like the World Bank and IMF, and implement homegrown policies that can take the majority of our people out of poverty, that can engender political stability in our country. That can encourage the government to address infrastructural decay.
Citizens, however, hope the leaders will reduce the cost of governance, thereby making sacrifices for the good of the country.